right. Well, welcome. Here we are, the 17th weekly meeting here for the 61 Main Street project. Hope everyone had a good 4th and back to the real world, so to speak now. So lot is happening here. Ryan's going to give a schedule update here in just a minute, and I'll kind of go back behind and summarize and hopefully maybe help explain some things. But with the push here now to the end, there's going to be some very dynamic things, and we're deviating a little bit from what we've communicated even previously, but it's all for the kind of final push here to meet our completion date and just get things completed. So just have that in mind here as we update, and I guess we make the final push. It's just probably the best way to state it. So with that, if you don't mind, Ryan, just giving us our schedule update.
You bet, Corey. Well, we've been staying on track here for the last few weeks, and that message remains the same this week. As far as utilities go, the sanitary work was completed this past week. The water, they're currently working in the Potter Street intersection. They're going to bounce up to the Plum Street intersection later this week, and the storm sewer at Potter is where they're currently working today, and we're going to come up and get Plum taken care of also later this week. So by the end of the week, we're projecting that all utility work on this project will be completed. Road restoration, they've made great progress the last week too. Of course, Potter to Plum is now prepped, ready for pavement. Plum to Bush is mostly done, and they're working their way up towards Potter. Of course, they'll have to come back and finish out the Plum Street intersection and get all the sidewalks ready to go. But by the end of this week, partially into next week, they should be about done as well. Which leaves the concrete paving, and the concrete paving is really the last push we got left. Curb and gutter will go. The straight curb and gutter is planned to happen this week. Monday and Tuesday of next week, we plan on doing the main drive lanes. Once that cures out, that really opens everything up. It allows us to do the intersection tie-ins, the parking lanes, the center lane drive-ins, and all the bump outs at every intersection. So the next 3 to 4 weeks of concrete paving, and then we should really be done. We can all pick up our toys and go home.
So Ryan, this week you are looking at some curb and gutter. So there'll be hopefully some concrete put down, at least on that first stretch from Broad to Bush. Yeah,
that's right. They come in with that curb and gutter machine. They'll hit all the straight hit all the straight curb and gutter. Should be a piece on each block.
Okay.
So they get all the way from Broad to Bush, Bush to Plum, and Plum to Potter
with the curb machine.
With the curb machine, which would just be the straight curb, right?
Yep.
And then we can't really do anything else concrete-wise. We could do some sidewalks. Not sure how much availability we'll have, but we got to wait until we do the main drive lanes, which would happen next Monday and Tuesday. That's the plan.
Okay.
Once those are in, once those cure out, that really opens it up and allows us to go really anywhere else to do the work.
What's the schedule for the electrical with the curb and gutter there? They follow that right up with
they come right behind
their footings
you.
And
most of their stuff's already in. Their conduits are in behind where the curb's going to go, but they'll have to come in after the curb's in and put in all the bases for all the lights and all the signals and then tie everything together before the sidewalks are all placed. So
okay. They'll
be coming in right behind the curb and gutter, which if we do the curb and gutter this week, the straight curb and gutter this week, and then we do the main drive lanes, then the electricians will be in here very busy as well.
Okay, so that would be the kind of the delay that you see behind, get curb in and the sidewalk doesn't get poured right away because there's still some work to be done in that area where the sidewalk is, the light poles and things like that.
Well, and not to mention prepping the sidewalk. I mean, it's
Yep.
kind of roughed in right now, but we've still got to make it nice and pretty and flat and
Yep.
compacted for the
and tying into the existing buildings and doing those intricate type work that's got to be done right along the brickwork and
the heated slabs too. I
the
think
heated
that's all
sidewalk by the St. James and some of the detailed work. So, but during that time, we'll keep the accessibility there. It's a gravel walkway. People were using it all weekend along the St. James there, and we'll make sure that that's maintained and being used up until the point it has to be taken out to put the permanent sidewalk in. So
that's right.
Okay.
So yeah, just kind of to update. I think previously we were communicating that it was going to be a lot more linear. I think we were anticipating where there would be really specific work scopes happening at any given time. And what's happened now with the solidified mainline paving date, the progression of the utilities has certainly allowed for this to take place, but the paving is set for early next week, the mainline pavement. And the utilities and grading have progressed such that that schedule can be accommodated. And so what that's doing is just putting emphasis then on getting the roadway paved. Where before I think we were anticipating maybe there'd be a little bit of a lag there, but now it's kind of a hard date set. And so that's going to carry as precedence. And so the straight curb will get in hopefully this week, but there won't be any sidewalk work like maybe we had thought, just with the availability to get the paving done. And that's critical to get that cured, because then you can start to work off that and fill in both back towards the south side, but then also towards the buildings. And so with the mainline paving, we have to do some modifications with the turn lane pockets at Plum. So there's going to be some traffic control changes here, part of that mainline pavement. And then additional to that, understanding we have to make some traffic control changes, I think we're going to expedite the utility work in Plum. Before, it was always thought we'd save Plum till the very end, but it's looking like logistically, with these forced traffic control changes for the paving, that isn't far away, just early next week. There's availability to make those changes a little bit sooner, get the utility work in Plum. That really frees up then the progression of the work going forward. We're able to get paved up closer to Plum, and then that leaves the ability to pave Plum, more on a paving schedule than a utilities and paving schedule. So it's just going to be really dynamic here. We're going to do the best we can to communicate it. We're going to sign it. It's not that it's going to be any more confusing. It's just going to be more changing probably, and maybe at a little faster pace just to keep things progressing. So.
Changing depending on the operation.
That's right.
And what the needs are.
That's right.
Plum Street would be the intersection that's going to have some changes, but it's going to be open. Not that all movements will be open. It'll be signed appropriately, but Plum Street is open. Bush Street remains, I think it's still set up as a right-in, right-out at the Bush Street intersection, and that will remain through this time. So.
Yep, and then we're well aware of some of the challenges, like say with Plum Street with no looped access on the north side. I mean, we're very aware of that and the needs with that. And so as we look at work within Plum Street, we're very aware that we have to have an alternate option for those, for the ADM and the Red Wing shoe. That'd be Potter. We're planning to temporary rock Potter, so that movement's available. So I think we're well understanding the needs of the corridor here now, being that we've been in this for the majority of the summer, and so we're gonna carry those through and just really try to keep this progressing. So, but there'll be some changes expected this week. I think we're gonna lose the left turn pockets this week likely at Plum Street to get this work to progress, and so the left turn will still be available, but you just won't have a defined pocket, and we need that space to get the paving work through. So.
And then the idea is to get that back established as soon as possible.
That's right. Yeah,
we're looking at widths and stuff and how we can do that with the barreling and things of that nature. So. Yep,
and we'll look at signing, and access is always going to be there. Just maybe a little different, just a little different setup. So, and then once this main line's paved, again we have that cure window. That'll be likely the majority of that in the next week. But then once that main line's paved and cured out, then it's just work it west to east and fill in all the gaps. And so, like Ryan said, I think in the next 3 weeks here, we should be looking at pretty much a fully paved road, hopefully, if weather cooperates and things continue to move here. So I think other than that, I don't know if I had any other major updates. It's just moving forward here on the north side. So any questions at all or concerns? Go ahead, Marcy.
I want to be sure I heard you say that Plum will remain open.
It will, yep.
Yes. Yep.
Will it be closed at any point between now and the end of the project?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yep. So yeah, just to expand on, Southside Plum will always be open. That's understood. That's paved and that'll always be open. There's the north side of Plum where we have to do work in yet. And we're going to try to attack that utility work yet this week. And there's some convenient timings there. Red Wing Shoe's a little slower at the end of the week. ADM's actually in a shutdown right now. So it makes some sense to get in and maybe do this work in Plum. Understanding, though, there's still some needs, so we're going to have Potter rocked. And then Plum would reopen through the paving work. We'll leave a gap at Plum for the paving, so we're not going to pave through Plum. That's always planned to be open. And then allowing us to pave through Bush and Potter. And then the thought is with Plum, the gap at Plum, that would facilitate access until Bush and Potter are cleared out. And then we'd be able to use the permanent pavement at Potter to have the redundancy there when the north side of Plum is true in fact closed for the paving until that's cleared out, and then hopefully permanent access restored. So Plum has to close. It's very specific use, the way it's dead-ended, so we're just working with the users to provide some ideal gaps to when to do the work. And so that's north side of Plum.
And that's the north side.
South side of Plum is forever open now.
It's open, correct. And that's kind of, think more of your question, were we going to ever have barricades back at 3rd Street and close the Plum Street intersection? No, there will be access to 61 from Plum, but the north side of that intersection where it goes into the Red Wing Shoe and the ADM side there will be a time, utilities this week, and then followed up with paving at some point that we will have to close it. But you'll be able to get up to 61 on Plum and take a right to head toward Lake City, or take a left to head back out toward Burnside. That will remain open. It's just there'll be times you won't be able to go straight across at Plum, which is a real specific impact. It's ADM and Red Wing Shoe, and it is an impact that we need to schedule for, and that's why we want to use Potter and use some of the other routes that we can get to their facilities. So.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And it's really good that it's not going to be totally closed.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah. Yep. Anything else? You got questions, audience? Anything? Sure, Sam? You got anything?
Want to do Levy Road?
Let's do Levy Road update.
All right, Levy Road, they had a real good week down there as well last week. They ended up getting Jackson Street, the base lift put on, and Levy Road, and it's that other road that goes off around the harbor there, Jay.
Bay Point?
Bay Point Road. They got all the base lift on all those asphalt paved last week. They also got the trail right in front of the harbor paved last week with asphalt, which opens up the readiness now to walk down that trail. But be careful on there now. We had to take down the orange fencing to caution people from walking off that edge, just so we could put that pavement in. And the railing's not up there yet. So the railing is still a couple weeks out before that gets placed up there. There is a drop off there we need to be aware of. Now then, we just got to pave out that parking lot, which we're hoping. I think they're hoping for this week to get that parking lot paved. And
The boathouse parking lot.
The boathouse parking lot, right?
Yep.
And then the curb and gutter that needs to go on, still from the roundabout down towards the Red Wing Grain offices. And once that's on and then cured out, then we can open up Levy Road to Red Wing Grain access to come from the roundabout side, and then we would work on the Broad Street intersection and that Bay Point Park parking lot. Levy Park parking lot.
The Levy Park parking lot. So on the over by Broad Street.
Right.
And finishing that up.
So that one, utilities are all done. Curb and gutter is. Concrete's come a long ways in the last few weeks. There's still some to do. They seeded around behind Red Wing Grain. They seeded the roundabout. They still have to do the plantings there next to Red Wing Grain office, in between there and the caboose. They got a lot of plantings to place. And they've been working on the fencing down by the Levy Park parking lot. There's a bunch of fencing on that trail.
The railing along there, yep.
Right.
And the gates and so forth.
I don't think there's anything else to update on Levy Road other than that project seems to be holding its schedule too and staying ahead of schedule pretty nicely.
Yep. How about any questions on Levy Road that Ryan or I could maybe help you with?
Any projections on the completion date?
I think that date's still the middle of August
For final completion.
for final, right?
What about usage in general?
Really, right now, Levy Road is closed to everybody but Red Wing Grain trucks. That trail is still being worked on, so that's really not open. With that drop, with that fall right there at the harbor, that can't be officially open. That has to remain closed. And there's really nothing we can do to put a handrail up there. So we'd like to keep everybody off that trail for now. So I guess it's not very open right now. We got the base lift on the asphalt down at the roundabout, and we've only got two of those three islands that go into the roundabout poured right now. So the roundabout's really tough to navigate through right now. Next couple of weeks it'll come a long ways and it'll be much more passable down there. Right now I'd stay away from Levy Road. Give us 3 weeks or 4 weeks down there and it'll be ready for an opening down there.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping by the end of the July here, by the end of the month, that we'd have something open. And I think you need to have that for the grain trucks to go out that direction so you can finish off your work near Broad Street that needs to be done.
Right.
At Levy parking lot and so forth. But that's what we're really shooting to. Not that there won't be some areas that need to be fenced or barricaded off for River City Days, but we're shooting to kind of have that road open up with the roundabout, first part of August, with final completion mid-August, as Ryan said. So we're really pushing for that date, first week in August to have that road open. So. Okay. Any other questions? All right, thank you for coming.